The main street.
Okay.
And it's yours.
Lovely to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to be in town for the Kerrang Awards. What do these awards mean to you?
I think they're a little bit more valuable to me than something like a Grammy, because this is something the fans decide, not a board of stiff people who don't really understand what my music's about. So this is more about the support of my fan base. So these awards are not only more meaningful, but they're just cooler too. You know, the crowd's much cooler, the whole atmosphere.
You're up for 3 awards. Do any one of the awards mean more to you, or would mean more to you to win it?
I'm always flattered to be, with any of them. I think I like the most fashionable male award the best. If there is one of those, I'll take that one.
Absolutely. Is it good fun? Have you been to the Kerrang Awards before?
Yeah, about 4 or 5 times now.
What's the atmosphere like there? Because it's my first one. I'm not quite sure what to expect.
Everybody's drunk, and there's usually a fight breaks out, so it's good.
Is there a sense of sort of competition between the bands that are there, sort of who can be the most outrageous, or is it just...
I think there might be. I don't feel that way. I think, there's often jealousy between bands, but it's not really ever been a competition for me. I think I am what I am, and there can be things that are like it or things that I feel are competing with it, but people know the real thing when they see it, and that's what I feel that I am.
You're up for Best Album for Hollywood. Can you tell me a little bit about what the main inspiration was behind this album, what your starting point was for it?
Part of it was a reaction to the media attacking me over Columbine. Part of it was me looking for closure in something that I began with Antichrist Superstar. Part of it was wanting to express a valid, important opinion about why mankind behaves the way he does, to point out that religion and entertainment are one and the same, and that entertainment can't be blamed for violence if violence is man's true nature. I wanted to put that into a record that took you on a journey.
Is writing and music very much escapism for you? Is it sort of a catharsis?
It is sort of, but I consider my whole life an escape from the rest of the world. Music and any sort of art is the one thing that keeps me going. So I remember growing up listening to music was an escape, but now I feel like just being who I am, I've already escaped, and I've got my own world, so I don't have anything to escape from.
Who inspired you as a youth?
I think the first inspiration I found was Jim Morrison. I read his biography, and then, later everyone from Prince, Madonna, Kiss, Alice Cooper, David Bowie, anybody who had a really strong personality. That's the way that I grew up understanding music, so it's not a surprise that I would follow in the same path.
Do you remember, was there actually a specific moment when Marilyn Manson emerged, this persona who you now are?
I think it was always a part of what I wanted to be. It was what I imagined myself being someday as a kid. Probably the day that I said the word, it was kind of like saying abracadabra, Marilyn Manson. It flows phonetically in the same sort of way. It's like a magic word. I think that was the transformation right there.
It's also quite a juxtaposition of characters as well. Is that sort of part of what you're about, is like putting things that aren't expected to be together?
Absolutely, and also being limitless and not trying to be able to be defined as either one thing or another, as black or white, evil or good, or male or female, or beautiful or ugly. I wanted all of that, and I wanted to show the different characteristics in either side by putting them together.
Going back to the album and the single Nobodies, you make reference to sort of that children died and the ratings went up. Obviously, Columbine and the reaction against you affected you quite deeply. Did you feel as if you were almost made a pariah? I mean, it was too much?
Well, they needed some sort of scapegoat because it was something that was so shocking to America and the rest of the world at the time that they needed an explanation of why, and I seemed like an easy person to blame for it. And I'm not surprised at something like that, but I'm surprised at the extent that they went to really persecute me over it. But I think this song in particular is also pointing out that that event is not singular, and things like that have been happening for years and years and years, and it's pitiful when it becomes a ratings game almost about how many people are watching when you die to see what type of a hero or what type of a martyr or villain you become. You know, how many magazine covers you get on when you kill somebody. I mean, it kind of goes back to the original putting Marilyn and Manson together. That's kind of what I was saying from the beginning. So this really validated my whole existence, and that was the irony that I was blamed for.
In your track controversy, do you ever feel that you have been guilty of courting it?
I'm definitely trying to provoke people to think. I don't think that controversy is something that you can exist on. You have to have something more meaningful. It can't just be hype. It just can't be shock value. You know, so my goal has always been to make people think. If people get pissed off when they see me or they hate me, they're thinking about me, they're talking, and they're saying, I hate him because he makes me feel this way. Or it's the same as when someone likes what I do. So my point has always been to make people think.
With the shows and sort of the hype that does surround the shows, do you think sometimes that overtakes the music somehow?
I think it's a part of it. I think to limit what I do to just music would be a shallow perception of what I am, because I consider myself an artist more than a musician, and I think the music and how people are affected by it and my performance and me speaking to people, all of that together adds up to what Marilyn Manson is. So if you were to weigh it and say, does one thing outweigh another, I think sometimes they add up to each other, but I really wouldn't want to have just one. I think I need all of that, and that to me establishes something important in pop culture, because pop culture is so saturated, and that's how I grew up in front of a TV seeing a commercial and then a cartoon and then a guns show and then this and that, and all of that became the way I communicate, very fast and very visual and in a lot of different formats.
One of the recent shows, you had a suit filed against you. Can you set the record straight on that?
Well, right now it's a legal matter, so what I can say about it is that I think I'm being falsely accused, and it's somebody using some sort of charge as an excuse to keep me from coming to that town. It's a town where I've been consistently over the past 6 or 7 years hassled and tried to be banned and things like that. So I think it's more of a political posture than any sort of real legal justice of any sort.
I'm sort of halfway through reading your book, but what strikes me about you is that you're very much an individual and conscious of your own identity and establishing yourself as being confident with who you are within yourself. Then with your fans though, do you sort of feel they're letting down that spirit by mimicking you so much, sort of almost sheep-like rather than finding it themselves? Do you see what I'm trying to say?
I think a lot of people often perceive my fans or any rock band's fans as being sheep-like and contradicting the overall message if I'm saying individuality and then they all look a certain way that's inspired by me. I don't think that's the case, because I think that that's them showing that they can identify with this. I think they're all still individuals, because it's more about what you feel inside, and if that makes them feel better about themselves to look like they're a part of this group because another group won't accept them. I think it's liberating for them. I don't think that they're following blindly. And I think that that's kind of the first step of becoming yourself. I think that I wanted to look like the people I admired when I was growing up.
And then from that you develop
Mm-hmm.
and reject and accept.
Mm-hmm.
It's a process. It's interesting. No, it's good. If you could be remembered for anything, what would you want to be remembered for?
As long as I'm remembered, that's the only important thing. So I don't think there's any one event that I could ever imagine would justify my whole existence. I think just remembering my name kind of is a statement enough. 'Cause my name itself really says so much and really represents probably everything I've done and will do.
Do you ever regret anything?
No.
You just move on.
Yes. I think if I've made mistakes, I learn from them, grow from them, become stronger. Only regret, I hadn't, that I didn't know what I do now when I was growing up. But I probably wouldn't have grown up this way.
I understand that you get on pretty well with Eminem.
Yeah.
What's the sort of connection? Do you have an affinity? Because maybe you're misunderstood in the same way, besides for lyrics and.
I think he's funny and has a similar sense of humor, has a similar attitude towards society and people who take themselves too seriously. He likes to take jabs at some of the same types of people that I do. He does things completely different than me, and we have a completely different aesthetic. But I just, for the most part, just think that he's entertaining and think that he's a funny guy.
Excellent. Well, look forward to catching up with you at the awards.
All right.
Hopefully you won't be too drunk.
It's too early in the day.
Party later. Absolutely. Great outfit, by the way.
Thank you.
Even though you can't lie down in it.
Even though I can't go anywhere in it.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Cheers.